Bama plays one of their most impressive games of the DeBoer era, in my opinion. We're going to get into why. How about the adjustments by the defense? Two big plays, but Bama ended up making some huge stops, and we got to see a little bit more of college football's version of William the Refrigerator Perry, or maybe Mount Cody, whatever you want to call it, Proctor, doing it again with the ball and on the line of scrimmage. And this guy right here loves all of that stuff. So we're going to talk about it on the Bama Tailgate Show, brought to you by Pearl River Resort, Philadelphia, Mississippi. Yeah, I'm in Vegas right now, but you don't have to come out here to get that Vegas experience. You got the Timeout Sports Lounge. It's a Vegas-style sports book right there, hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. You get the exact experience that I'm getting without all the travel headaches. Let's get the show started. Roll Tide, everybody. All right, there he is, Mike Johnson. I'm Mick Gillespie. This channel was made for you, Mike. Every time I see the open, I know.
Well, I'm flattered to know that, man. It's and I'm actually, I think I've got the best day of the week on your channel, man. Monday Reaction Monday is where it's at, dude.
Yeah. Mondays with Mike. Hey, how about the sphere? You see the sphere right here?
I do see the sphere in the background. Is that where you've been this weekend?
Yeah, I went and saw the Eagles on Saturday. I saw Rod Stewart at Caesar's Palace on Friday. So, and then I went to Circa and watched the Sunday night football game in baseball from the stadium pool. So I mean,
dude.
Hey, dude, I've been hitting it hard, man. Three days, 3 amazing events, and now we get to talk some football.
I was gonna say, where did you watch the Bama game at? Is the biggest question, man.
They try to watch from the sports book, but man, I'm one of these guys that game gets hairy, and I got to watch it in my room. I can't. Don't be cheering against my team. I don't want to hear it. Every time they do something, I don't want to hear some guy whistling or clapping.
I had the best seats that I've ever sat in at Bryant-Denny Stadium this weekend, man. But we'll get into that.
Right.
But yeah, dude, it was the sweet life, and not only that, but it was the end zone. It was like right above the north zone was like right above that in a suite, dude, and like the view of like watching the O-line go to work, it was like football porn for me. Like it was outstanding, dude. Outstanding.
The Juice Squad. You got a good look at the Juice Squad. I thought the offensive line had a good game.
I did too. What's funny, man, is this because you've watched many, many football games with me, but I was around a crowd of, let's say there was probably let's say 18 people in this suite I was in, and like 2 or 3 of them just massive Bama fans, but not like real high on the football level, just like kind of like, let's go, like what are we doing? Why was the play call that, this, that, and the other? And at one point, Jam Miller had like 12 carries for like 78 yards or something. And, we threw the ball on like a first down. And, it was probably could have ran it, but it was what it was. And guys like, Mike, what are we doing, man? Why are we not doing, a better job of this? And I was like, well, you want my honest opinion? It's your expectations. And I was like, dude, we're running the crap out of the ball right now. I don't know what you need to see, but they're running the crap out of the ball. I don't know if you thought they were going to rip off a 20-yarder every freaking play, but they were doing pretty good running the ball when they needed to. And Jam Miller was exceptional on the ground, as was the offensive line, like you just talked about. So, yeah, man, I thought the O-line up front, I mentioned it to you after last week. I thought the blocking of the O-line didn't come out on the stat sheet. I thought some of the other things around it, read option stuff, lead blockers, tight ends, I thought that wasn't great, running backs. But I thought it started to kind of come, round into form against Vanderbilt, which was nice to see.
Jam Miller to me is by far the best running back Alabama has.
Not even close. It's not even close.
There's no second place. And when he's out of the game, there's such a drop off. And that's no offense to Kevin Riley or any of the other guys. Some of these guys can't even block, so they can't stay on the field. And then Kevin Riley, it just isn't Jam Miller. I mean, Jam Miller, you can see now why Bama struggled against Florida State because you didn't have a run game. This guy gives you the run game when you mix him with this offensive line.
No, yeah, it's really impressive to watch, and that's what I love about watching from the end zone where I was at. It was like, it's not only can you watch the scheme or can you watch the blockers or whatever else it may be, jumping out in front of them, but there's so much other stuff kind of on display in terms of the patience of the running back, right? I mean, it's like you can see the hole, but you can see him press the hole and set up like the extra block to get the defenders to jump around, to the outside, and then he cuts back in, and it's like, dude, that was so good. Like, man, it was incredible. On the flip side, the first run for Vanderbilt that went the distance, I was staring that one in the face, and I was like, oh, man, this is not good. Like, that guy jumped in and out of a hole, and all of a sudden the acceleration threw it, and nobody was going to catch him, and Vanderbilt was up 7-0. So, really unique vantage point. I'm with you, though. Jam Miller, I don't want to say he's the most irreplaceable part we have on offense because I think Ty Simpson deserves that label. But, dude, he's a close runner-up. I mean, that guy is the best running back by a mile we have. It makes me honestly a little bit sour that we don't have Justice Haynes still because I think that he was kind of in that mold. Here's what it is. And as long as Jam Miller stays healthy, man, he's going to gain a ton of yards behind this offensive line. And, I don't know how deep you want to get in the weeds, but Jaden Roberts didn't play this weekend. And I thought that was a huge, huge swing of events. Fifth-year guy not playing at the right guard spot. He seems fully healthy and everything else. So I thought that Kalen DeBoer made a tough call there, but it ended up working out.
Yeah, it looked like Wilkin Formby was playing with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, and Wilkin was mixed in and out as well. Gio Vandermark played the entire game at right guard, but Wilkin switched out with I'm losing the freshman's name off the top of my head, but he was pretty good
Michael
as well.
Carroll?
Yeah, it was cool to watch those guys kind of mix in and out, and Wilkin was really good against Georgia, but I think that there's a level of athleticism in the Carroll kid that that I think if you can bring him along, and they are bringing him along slowly, but I wouldn't be shocked by the end of the year or later on in the season if Carroll's the better of the two. So I thought it was nice, man. I love the surge we're getting up front right now. There was a time last year where when we had double teams, we weren't even getting into movement with double teams, which is just not an Alabama thing. And I think that right now, when you have double teams, when you can create double teams, you're getting a lot of movement, man, which is a huge thing when you run counter and power as much as we do.
So what would you grade the Juice Squad?
Is that the O-line? Is that what we're calling it right now?
Yeah. That's okay. What they call themselves. That's Coach Cash made that up.
I thought they were really good. It's tough, man, because so many times do you look at the O-line and you grade them against what O-lines of the past there have been, the Nick Saban O-lines, and I don't think that's fair. But then, after they played last week, I look for them taking, a step further. And Vanderbilt did some things that can cause confusion, but I think I'm giving Bama's O-line at least an A- this past weekend. There were times that I thought you could have gained more yardage, but you got to give the scheme a little bit of credit. You got to give Ty Simpson a little credit from rolling out and doing different things. As far as being able to stay away from sacks, and then Jam Miller. So I think it was just it was a really complimentary version of offense we saw.
Yeah. Look, I agree. Not that it matters, but I think you win and lose football games with the big guys up front, man. And, the core guys. And I thought Alabama played well in there. I mean, on offense, defense, they gave up the big touchdown run. They gave up 2 big plays, but then you look after that, they really kind of got locked in, man. Justin Jefferson had a monster game. The forced fumble changed the entire game.
Changed everything. It happened right in front of us down there, right there in the tight red. Here's what I'll say about the defense. I just mentioned I was in the end zone watching. Here's what I was able to pick up that I'm not normally able to pick up on. And I'm going to try to not dumb this down, but I'm going to try to make this as simple sounding as you can. All right, we kind of played with a little bit of a quarterback spy, but almost like in a zone with Jefferson or whoever else needed to be over there. And what they were doing is instead of spying it up the middle and allowing both, all the edge rushers to rush the edge, they were offsetting the spy to one side, let's just call it the left side of the defense. And whoever the defensive end was in front of the spy was spiking inside of the offensive tackle, like into the B gap, and forcing Pavia to flush out to his right and forcing him to flush out to the right side of the pocket. And they did it a couple of times to the left as well. And they would essentially already have the spy there just kind of waiting on him. Like, dude, yeah, we knew you were going to flush. We just rushed every rush lane, and they all took off to the right and forced you to flush out to your right. And they're just waiting. And Kane Womack's defense, whoever it was just sitting there waiting on Diego Pavia. You could see it as clear as day from the end zone. You're like, man, what a defensive game plan to take care of somebody like that. Can't allow him to sit in the pocket. You don't even really have to blitz him, but you take the offensive line out of the equation and you flush him out to his right, and he was not going to – he's a very athletic kid, but he wasn't going to beat some of the linebackers and some of the guys in the secondary we had over there on the right side. I mean, Bama's defense was essentially in the second half splitting the field in half and saying, dude, you're not going to beat us on the whole field. You're going to have one half to throw to, and we're gonna trust our athletes out in space to be able to make plays, man. I thought it was just exceptional. Like, when I got home, I was like, man, I got to go back and watch how many games – did we try to do that to Thomas Castellanos at Florida State? Did they just keep us off guard, not doing that with, the situations? But I thought Kane Womack's defense played as good a half of football in the second half against Vanderbilt as he's played since he got here. I mean, it was just crazy to watch that play out.
Well, the funny thing is that I make the thumbnails. I made it before the show, and I, that was kind of the theme, because I agree with you. I mean, I feel like this was one of the toughest games that Alabama's had under Kalen DeBoer. And this is where these guys have struggled. Now, I know Vanderbilt was ranked and game day was there. And you got another one this week at 11 against Missouri. That's a trap game.
Yeah.
But I agree, man. I just feel like, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like that there's a momentum switch with these guys. They just looked like Alabama. They played like Alabama. They had a toughness to them. They were prepared. They were disciplined. The last 2 weeks, we haven't seen discipline like this since, I'm trying to think, maybe 2020, because it slipped from Saban. And you look at the penalties.
No, it was definitely probably
two of those penalties. You tell me, was the Parker Brailsford holding a holding?
It was, obscene.
Right, dude, that's what I'm saying. So that there were 3 penalties. That was one. The other holding penalty you're looking at going, I don't even know about this one.
Yeah.
And then they didn't have any in the second half. This unbelievable. That's 2 straight weeks where this team has been not perfect, but close to it.
Yeah, and I agree, man. You start looking at the schedule up ahead. You said Missouri's another trap game. You get by Missouri, you're playing Tennessee. I don't even know. Is that a trap game or just a great matchup? I mean, that's a tough one as well. It is funny, though, that it speaks volumes about where Alabama's at and what we've seen from Kalen DeBoer's Alabama, that I look at South Carolina and Auburn. They're the only 2 unranked teams that you're playing in the SEC the rest of the way. South Carolina and Auburn, and they're both road games. And I'm like, those are the ones we should be worried about. Like those are the ones you should be worried about, not ranked Tennessee or ranked Missouri. It's the unranked road games. And I'm like, dude, this is not good. Like that could be a tough one. But I was impressed overall. They looked like championship contenders. We know how this game is. And here's what else I'll say, because I got in this conversation with a couple of people on Saturday night in Tuscaloosa. Stopped by Rounder, stopped by Galette's. Stopped by the new 2 Dimes place, which is awesome. Shout out to Grant and his crew for putting that together. But I was, people were asking about Kalen DeBoer, and his record against like top 25 teams is like 12-3 or something in his career since he got to Washington. Just something insane. And I started pointing out, like, think about the people that were in contention for this job when Kalen DeBoer got it. Think of that. Try to tell me a coach in college football that hasn't had some kind of nonsensical loss in the last year and a half. There's not one, dude. Look at what Steve Sarkisian looks like at Texas. Look at what Mike Norvell looks like at Florida State right now after the last couple of games they've played. You can go think of how Georgia fans feel about Kirby Smart after the loss last week. There's just, no matter where you look, there's just losses that don't make sense. James Franklin, Lord knows, dude, they're ready to ride that guy out of town up at Penn State right now after the loss he had to UCLA. So it's all over the place, man. I don't know who you trust, but I trust Kalen DeBoer right now to be able to get these guys ready to play. And I think there's something to be said about that. He's one of those guys that is different than what we're used to in Tuscaloosa. But the last couple of weeks, man, make no bones about it, it's been the best, by far, the best that Bama has looked under Kalen DeBoer has been the last 2 weeks. It's not even close. Not even close.
Well, the discipline, I mean, you can't sit on here and get on this guy about discipline and doing this and doing that and then not give him the praise when he deserves it, man. I mean, like, I'm absolutely impressed with that, first off, because I didn't know that they could get there. The toughness has been there too. They're not as deep defensively, or they're young, or they're awful young with all these injuries, but they're finding a way to make it work. Now that could change, week to week. They have a problem stopping the run, but they made adjustments in that game where at least they slowed it down enough. And in the second half of the ball game, they had, I thought, one of their best defensive outings, of the Kane Womack defensive era.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. I think we have a problem stopping the run. Well, first and foremost, when there's a dual threat quarterback, when you have a +1, and I don't even know if it's possible anymore. You remember, and you'll remember this, 10 years ago, there was a run of games where Nick Saban had never allowed a 100-yard rusher. Do you remember that?
I remember
it spanned like 4 or 5 seasons, it feels like. I don't know how long it was. But it just doesn't exist that way in college football anymore. It's because of the offenses. It's because of the +1 with the quarterbacks on all the teams, it feels like. And that was the one thing that really going into the game, and you and I discussed it last week, Kane Womack needed a game that he could tell everybody he could defend against dual threat quarterbacks. We haven't seen it, man. I mean, it wasn't even a dual threat quarterback last year when you played Oklahoma because they couldn't throw the ball. The dual threat has to do with throwing it. They're just a running quarterback for Oklahoma last year, and you couldn't stop them. So I'll be curious to see how that kind of comes about. But I'm starting to just really develop an affinity for a lot of these guys on the sideline, man. Ty Simpson, good Lord. I mean, if he's not everything you hope for as a Bama quarterback when you wake up in the morning, then I don't know what to tell you, man, because the kid is just – he can't be phased, it feels like. It can't tell you many people that I have had asked me over the last 24 hours, why didn't this kid play the last 2 years? And I don't have a good answer. But he's been impressive. It really has been fun to watch him over the last few games.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. I mean, what was the stat? Bama gave up 136 yards, but 101 of them came on 2 plays. The rest of the game, 16 carries for Vandy, 35 yards.
Yeah, they swarmed him. And like you mentioned, the first 2 drives is where Vandy was like, it felt like they could really put us in a bad spot. They come out. So, Bama goes down. You go for it on 4th. I thought it was an awful play call, to be honest. Ty Simpson throws the interception, but you had to put that ball up. I mean, it wasn't like you could throw it away. It's 4th down. So he's going to get an interception in the stat column, but really there was nothing to be gained from it. Yeah, I mean, it was, let's be honest, it was a mistake by Vandy to catch that ball.
Yeah.
It should have never caught the ball. You bat it down, you've gained 30 yards going back the other way. But then, Vandy rips off the long run. Bama goes back down as threatening, misses the field goal. And then, Vandy's coming back about to make it 14-0 before you cause the fumble. So after those 2 drives, I thought that Bama continued kind of on the right trajectory in terms of putting offense together and making adjustments, and Vandy didn't. Vandy fell apart offensively after that drive. They had a couple of big runs, don't get me wrong, but the way that they've been able to operate and how long a lot of those guys have been in that system, I don't find that shocking. And granted, you're going to get a lot of the same things when you look at the way Missouri is going to line up with us next week. So that ought to be a challenge in and of itself.
I saw, I saw this as an opportunity to go play a really good football team that was hungry. And I know that a lot of people have been taking shots at Diego. I mean, look, when you come from like that type of program and, you talk some smack, maybe your guys get behind you, you start to believe it. I enjoyed it, man. Like it's like Coach Prime at Colorado, it's like, it just makes the game more fun to me. It makes it more interesting. Like, if this came from Auburn, I don't know that I would like it as much,
I mean, yeah.
Johnny Manziel on the sideline, Theo Vaughn, those guest pickers, like, hey, these guys drove me here. They're my ride home, like it. Vanderbilt they had a little punch to them, coming to Tuscaloosa.
Well,
at least,
I will say the one thing that I didn't like, and this is very nitpicky, the one thing that I didn't like, and I actually heard Greg Olson talking about this earlier. He's like, the video comes out where Diego Pavia and them just got finished with pregame warmups and they're headed back to the tunnel, and some Bama fans just letting it eat, just trash talking him. And there's a kid standing next to Diego Pavia. He goes, "Man, you're talking to a kid like that." And he's talking about Diego Pavia. And I'm like, bro, first of all, this guy's like 25. Like, at what point are we not a kid anymore? You know what I mean? Not only that, the guy's probably making $1 million. Like, it is what it is. Don't claim the whole you're talking to a kid thing on me. All right, but Diego Pavia, right before that, practices taking a knee, and then throws the ball up in there. Like, don't cry foul. Like, if you're gonna be those people, then wear it. You know what I mean? I think Diego Pavia did that. I think Diego Pavia absolutely wore it. Johnny Manziel's flipping the bird to people. Dude, you walked up in here like that. You know what I mean? What did you think was gonna happen? Dude, you didn't go to Vanderbilt or Alabama. You came here to talk trash. And sit behind a trash talker and wear a trash talker jersey. Why are you shocked that somebody's trash talking you in Tuscaloosa, man? So I liked it from both angles. I liked that Vanderbilt had a little bite to it. And I don't know if you ever noticed this, but on a national scene, Bama's fans get a little bit of the complacency narrative, the cheese and wine crowd. They had a little bite back too. It was like, "No, dude, don't come up in here like that. Like this This ain't this ain't some place that you can just run up here and talk as much noise as you want to." So I liked it from all angles. And Diego Pavia, he laid it all out there, man. So I didn't mind.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. It was the most hyped Vanderbilt game ever. Now I wonder what Vanderbilt. Yeah, I wonder what they do now. I mean, can they? Are they going to look like Florida State against Miami? Or realize man,
no, dude. I actually think Vanderbilt, and I caught some flack for this on the morning radio. I think Vanderbilt's I think they're still a contender for the SEC. I really do. That Bama wins that game going away at the end, but let's not act like this game shouldn't have ended 14-23. Jan Miller scores that last touchdown. And covers the spread. Yeah, covers the spread. Everybody's all excited about it. But, dude, this is a team in Vanderbilt that has not only been just beating teams, but have been beating the crap out of them. So I think Vanderbilt now goes into a bye week, and I think on the other side, their bye week, they come out and play LSU, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Dude, LSU's not that good. I'm just throwing that out there. That doesn't mean they won't swamp Alabama or whatever. Bama's got a loss left on the schedule, if not more. I mean, it just is what it is. It's hard to win week in and week out in this league right now. But Vanderbilt could beat LSU. There's no doubt in my mind. The problem is the rest of the schedule, there's no rest. I mean, it looks like Bama's schedule. I mean, here's what I got. LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee.
That's tough.
This is Vanderbilt we're talking about. You know what I mean? So, like, Kentucky ain't worried about that. You know what I mean? Auburn's not shying away from Vanderbilt. They've got 6 games after the bye that they're going to be, tasked with playing at a high level. But I'll say this much, man. They lay it all on the line. They didn't shy down from Bama in the least as far as physicality goes.
They're Nashville for LSU, Nashville, Missouri, at Texas, Nashville, Auburn, Nashville, Kentucky, and then at Tennessee, which isn't a very far trip for them. And then Diego has a chance to beat Auburn 3 straight times, which is crazy.
Let me tell you something right now. All right, Texas is unranked now because of their loss. Yeah. All right, so now you've got LSU, Missouri, and Tennessee that are all ranked, and I'll add Texas into that. At least 2 of those teams are getting beat. At least. But if you give me the 3 ranked teams they have left plus Texas, at least 2 of those teams are going down by Vanderbilt. Like, Vanderbilt is not going to lose to LSU, Texas, Missouri, and Tennessee, all 4. No way. There's no way. They're better. They're better than most of that. If I had to guess right now, they'd beat Texas. Texas looks terrible. They just look downright terrible. So I'm not sure how that goes, but I'm telling you, man, that's a big win for Bama. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's a big one.
Well, then, to turn the page, I mean, now you got to go to Missouri, and guess what? They're ranked 14th, and they're 5-0. And you better be just as up for this one as you were the last one. I mean, it's crazy how good this conference is.
It really is. And now I think the line's already out. I want to say Bama 3.5-point favorite. That's not a lot, dude.
Wow.
Like that. Think about that now. Bama opened this week as a 12.5, and we were like, man, it's gonna be a tough game. Bama's a 3.5. That's a noon game in Como. That's
11 for us on the Central Time Zone. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Like, hey,
yeah, man. That's
the hype, right? At Georgia, hype. Game day against Diego, talking all of his smack. And now you go to Missouri, right? Like, this is even though they're ranked, it's the perfect trap game, because then you got Tennessee after that.
Dude, and here's the thing.
Where Saban was great, man. This is where Saban was Saban.
The next 5 games could all be looked at as trap games. All 5 of them before you get to Eastern Illinois. Missouri, if you win then all of a sudden it's Tennessee third Saturday. If you beat them, it's a talented South Carolina team with Mike Shula as the OC. If you beat them, it's like, we got LSU. I mean, and then Oklahoma, a team that, without a freaking offense beat you last year by 3 touchdowns. So I don't know, dude. Like I was talking about this morning, they're not going to run the table the rest of the way, but you just got to keep it to where you have a chance at winning the SEC. And if you can do that, then you can really get things pointed in the right direction.
Guys, don't forget to sign up for Mick Nation, Avenue D. There's the promo code right there, right up below the sphere out here in Vegas. We'll be giving away Tailgate Show hats and shirts and tickets, and you can win cash prizes as well. It's all free, and we want you to be part of what we're doing out there. All right, let's start with Bama. Bama ranked 8th now. So after the Florida State loss, going in the right direction, picking up spots. Any reaction to that?
I mean, it's cool. I think I'm nervous to even look at it, to be honest with you, man. I mean, it's cool, and I like the fact that these streaks continue where Bama's top 25 this, top 10 that, whatever it may be. Really, and I'll be just completely blunt about it, since the college football playoff poll has kind of started, way back when, I haven't paid as much of attention to the AP at this point. I mean, Texas and Penn State are prime examples. Phil Steele, right? Phil Steele, the guy who writes the college football Bible. Yeah. We had him on our radio show in Atlanta a week before the season started, and he's like, Penn State's going to win the national championship. He's like, mark my word. They're talented. James Franklin get over the hill. Drew Allard, might win the Heisman. We're looking at number 1 pick. Dude, they're not even ranked this week. Like, I mean, It's insane. It's insane how fast it falls. Texas the same way. Oh, Sarkisian's got the 5-star Arch Manning. They'll start off in Ohio State. They're going to be co-favorites to win the SEC. They're not ranked. It's just dumb. It's like, I don't know. It's just so hard. And it's like we just talked about the SEC, but really it's true throughout the country and every conference now. It's hard to win week in and week out, man. It really is. You get beat over the head with it, and all of a sudden 160-pound Nico Iamaleava rushes for 150 on you, and you're Penn State, and it's over with. So let me approach it from this angle. And here's what I'll say about it being the AP top 25 poll, if you don't mind. All right.
Go ahead.
There's a lot of good to be gained from this in who you don't play. You start looking at the top 25. Who in the heck that pays attention to SEC football is even thinking about Texas A&M right now? Nobody. They're number 6 in the AP poll right now. Texas A&M's number 5. Ole Miss is number 4. You play Oklahoma, but they're a team that's been without John Mateer the last couple of weeks. We don't know what they are at all. So it just is what it is, man. All the other teams right behind you, LSU, Tennessee, Missouri, all the other stuff, you're going to play them down the stretch. So am I happy that Bama's 8? Sure. Does it mean absolutely anything? Maybe this is just the Nick Saban coming out of me. Absolutely not. It just is what it is, man. Keep climbing.
You want to keep on climbing. Well, let me ask you this then. What do you think about On 3 listing their Heisman leaders? And now they got Ty Simpson tied for first, Dante Moore of Oregon, Trinidad Chambliss of Ole Miss.
How is that possible? Can we start there? Trinidad Chambliss has started one game for Ole Miss, dude. What are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, look, how is that possible? Can I say that?
On 3 put it out. I'm just taking it right off of our buddy Andrew Bone's Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, dude, look. Rusty Manziel, Chris Lowe works for them now. Rusty Manziel is a good buddy of mine. It's just,
Chris Lowe's
what
on our
are we
channel.
doing, man? Is it awesome? Are we trying to get content? Like, I don't know. That's just the Trinidad Chambliss thing. And I get it, man. Like, hopefully people forget about week 1 Ty Simpson. But it's just
nobody blames him, Mike. Everybody blames the offensive line and the game plan.
Game plan sucked. I'll be point blank on that one. I thought, and I actually tweeted this in real time. Florida State, the game against Florida State, you come out and run the ball down Florida State's throat on the first drive. I was like, dude, that was awesome. I don't think they went back to that. Like the rest of the game, they didn't do that, and that was maddening.
Dude, you bring up something that I probably would have skipped over, but you kind of nailed it. That's what this team does. I love that they just suck the life out of the clock. They're waiting till the last 5 seconds. Like, you can't get the ball from them. Yeah. And then they run behind the offensive line, and Ty Simpson's so accurate. That's what makes Alabama one of the most dangerous teams in the country, because everybody wants to speed you up. Pavia didn't even get the ball that much.
That's such a good point, dude.
Yes, and that was honestly, everything else aside, that was the number one reason that Alabama won the game, because Vanderbilt just didn't have the ball. Ever.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I really couldn't agree with you more. It was, and honestly, dude, this goes all the way back to 2009 Bama that I was a part of, or 2008 Bama. Like, that's what we were. It was like we went in a 4-minute mode with 8 minutes left. Like, you're just not going to get the ball back, dude. You better hope you're up at that point, because we're not going to get the ball back to you. I mean, the one game we almost lost that year, which was the Tennessee, the Rocky Block, that was the crazy thing. Like, Mark Ingram had never fumbled a ball in his career. You fumbled the ball, they score a touchdown, they get the onside kick, and they're going to kick the ball to win the game. That was the crazy part, because we always went into 4-minute mode, and it was like, dude, we're going to assault this clock away. We're gonna take 8 minutes off this thing. You're not going to get the ball back. I don't care how explosive your offense is. You're not going to be on the field. So I love that, dude. I love that way of thinking out of Kalen DeBoer and this team so far.
William the Refrigerator Perry. I teased this at the beginning of the show. You're an offensive lineman. Do you remember the fridge from the 85 Bears?
Oh, God,
arguably one of the greatest teams of all time. But you played with Mount Cody. Remember, Bama used to use Mount Cody in those short yardage situations, come off the defensive line and run the ball. They're using.
I used to hate how much shine he got for that, though, man. I used to hate how much shine he got for that. It's like, you know what? I've been doing this every freaking play. I've been out here just trying to get these blocks every play. He comes in, somebody moves out of his way, and then he hurdles the offensive line on the field because we're laying on our face because we just tried to kill somebody. And then it's like Mount Cody on the lead block. And I'm like, yeah, what? Like, what are we talking about? He didn't even touch anybody. No, I'm just kidding, man. I loved it. I love seeing Caden Proctor actually get the ball. And dude, he did exactly what the play was designed, did he not? It was like,
yeah,
you weigh 360, nobody's going to stop you from getting the first down. Everybody else get out of the way. That's what I love. Sometimes you see the heavy sets, like, try to hand it to a big dude, and they try to put a bunch of people in front of him to try to create like a rugby scrum. Just get everybody else out of the way. Let him get one-on-one with some dude that weighs 230, and there's no way that guy's stopping him for a yard. I don't care if he's blocked or not, man. Just everybody else get out of the way. That was the beauty of the play to me. Hand it off. Let him get one-on-one on the backside. No way anybody's touching that guy.
No, I thought it was amazing. I mean, I love it every time we do something like that with him. And I love the creativeness right now. The biggest problem that I had with Bill O'Brien, and the reason that I don't think Alabama won that championship, was because Bill O'Brien's offense was just boring. It wasn't creative. These guys, some of the stuff that they do doesn't work, but a lot of it does. But it's the creativity that keeps these college teams kind of on their toes. It becomes very difficult to figure out what Alabama's doing right now. Misdirection, I love it. Using a guy like this to get you short yardage, I love it. He reminds me, and I think I told you this last week, of like the Bud Bowl commercials when the Super Bowl, when they bring in like the 40-ounce beer and give him the run. You couldn't stop him as a regular like 12-ounce can. No.
Do you remember what I said when we talked about that play last week? I said, but did you notice when he's in motion? There was a play before that we had to call timeout. Ty had to call timeout, and Caden Proctor was coming in motion from the bunch formation. And I was like, Mick, we haven't seen the end of this thing. Like, he catches the ball out of the bunch formation later against the Georgia game, but then he lines up in the backfield last week. There's a motion in there with something else. I don't know what in God's name. I don't know if he's crack blocking on somebody or what, but that's not going to be fun. We haven't seen the end of it. The possibilities are endless. And right now, I guarantee you they are drawing up more plays for this. Like, why not build off of it? Why not use them as a screen or something to run the ball the other way? I mean, the possibilities are endless when you have a dude that big and that athletic.
Yeah, we got to figure out what his nickname is. He needs a nickname. Mount Cody, William Refrigerator Perry. This guy, maybe put it on your list. He needs a nickname because he's earning it. Because you're right. We're going to see him. And it might be the play that he doesn't touch the ball that ends up being the one that wins a game, because who knows? You're right, though. They're going to use him either as a blocker or a decoy at some point, right?
100%. 100%. And you're right. We got to come up with, I don't know, the K train or something like that. We'll figure something out, man.
All right. Let me remind you guys, and Mike, I love when I get to bring up stuff like you, but we got a great partner in Kelshi. Kelshi's awesome. It's legal in all 50 states. I'm out here in Vegas right now, but you get better odds on Kelshi. No house vig. Prices are set by supply and demand. No limits. Winners don't get cut off. Live trading. You don't get blocked mid-game. Flexibility. You can cash out early anytime. It's transparent pricing. Watch the odds move over time. And you can bet on a lot of stuff. Politics, the economy, Oscars, Grammys, pop culture, and sports as well. So I like to fashion myself as a guy who is more than just sports. I know last week when I asked you about aliens, you didn't really like that one too much. So let me find something a little bit better.
Can I ask you if they have one?
What?
I don't even know if you've seen this, but I'll throw a couple of different ones at you.
All right.
How long will Paul Feinbaum be off the air at ESPN? Because I know that he got suspended.
Whoa! Now I did not know this. No.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
I guess he got kicked off ESPN while he's kicking the tires on the Senate run, so they don't want him to be on air.
Oh, okay. So he didn't do anything wrong, but yeah.
No. They're just they just told him he was not allowed on air until he made a decision about his politics.
Wow.
Which that just came out like an hour ago, but I'm curious if there's anything updated. What
do you think about that? I mean, I get that. Like, I'm not always up on ESPN's politics, but I think that's fair. If a guy's going to run for Senate, whether he's a Democrat or a Republican, he doesn't need to be on their platform, right? Like,
I completely agree.
We all deal with that, on.
No, and I think, and I'm hard on ESPN as anybody, but I'll give them credit where credit's due. They've moved in the right direction in terms of that very quietly over the last 5 years or so. I mean, it's just, they've brought people on air that you would have never thought they would brought on air, and people have kind of gone by the wayside that you thought were staples there. So I'll give them credit. It's the right move. Paul needs to make a decision on what he wants to be in life. And if he thinks politicians then go ahead and, go by the wayside in terms of ESPN or SEC Network.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. That could be something that they end up having on here. I mean, you get to bet on anything, right? They don't have it up yet, but
the other one I was going to ask you is Mark Sanchez done as a broadcaster?
What happened there?
Dude, it's a bad deal. I guess he got a little too deep in the bottle or whatever else and tried to beat the crap out of some guy. The guy stabbed him, and it's a bad deal. So he got arrested for that. That's another thing that's been going crazy. I just thought, okay, here's a couple of just current events kind of sport parallel that maybe you can bet on these days.
Okay, no, well, okay, here's one for you. How long will the government shutdown last? We do have odds on this, right?
Yeah.
More than 20 days, more than 25 days.
What's the odds? What's the payout?
56 right now for, and it's a trending.
Yeah.
It's people going crazy. 56% say more than 20, and 41% say more than 25.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll refrain from my guess on that one, but I just wish it would end quickly. That's all I'm going to say.
Let's see. I see. Here's my aliens exist. That's still trending, by the way.
It's a question as old as time, man.
I love this one. I guess I should ask you too. Gas prices in the U.S. this month above 310, above 315.
I don't have a good handle on this because I drive a diesel. You know that. So my prices are always a little bit different compared to y'all. It's like I don't want to go Shadur Sanders when somebody asked him what his favorite gas station snack was, and he said, "I don't get gas. I drive a Tesla." I'm not going to go that route, but yeah, I don't know what the normal gas prices are. So,
okay, let's see if I can find one for you. That would be I've got. Okay, yeah, 8.0 earthquake this month. Yes or no?
I mean, yes, right? Just
yes.
It's
earthquake season.
I was going to say, we're in hurricane season. We're in earthquake season. Feels like the hurricane thing's got to come to fruition. I don't know, man. That's tough. I don't know. I hope not. I'd say that.
You hope not. Last one. Will a hurricane make landfall in South Carolina during the 2025 hurricane season? That's the whole season.
I'd have to say yes.
94%, 94 cents on every dollar is going to no. 11 cents yes.
No, I'm going with yes on that one. I'd bet against the public on that. I'll take that. I'll be Vegas. John Q. Public can have that one. That one's going to happen.
Hey, Kelshi.com. Don't forget that you get $10 free when you sign up using our code Bama Tailgate and trade $100. It's pretty fun. And look, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff you can go on there. Who's going to be the next president? It's one of the things you can talk about. A lot of stuff with President Trump. Will he say this or do this? What they're going to say, what Taylor Swift's going to say. Like what crypto prices, all that stuff right there. So, all right, Mike. I remind all you guys that South Carolina and Auburn games, we're going to be down at the Floor Bama. We'll be at Coastal, which is their restaurant in Orange Beach. And then the big stage for the Auburn game that Friday. So please come by and hang out. It's always great to see you guys when you do. Come see us at the Floor Bama. Bama versus Missouri. Any thoughts on this one? I mean, we're going to start hyping this thing up now.
I'm not a huge Eli Drinkwitz fan, but I will say I'm very impressed with what he's been able to do at Missouri. I remember last year he was talking trash on the field and talking trash to Bama's defenders and saying if he had his quarterback the entire time that this game would be a lot different. I fully believe him. I think that this is going to be an absolute dogfight. I think that that crowd's going to be ready for you. Hopefully Bama can wake up and get some good coffee in him, man, so this is not a trap game. But if they play the brand of football they've been playing the last couple of weeks, they should win running away. But it's a tough Missouri squad, and I think Bama's going to have a hiccup at some point. I just hope it's not to Missouri.
Yeah, me too. Well, that's Mike Johnson. I'm Mick Gillespie. Don't forget Mick Nation, Avenue D, right there by the Sphere from Vegas today. But it's all free. We're giving away tickets to a future Alabama game. We did it for Wisconsin. I think we might do it for maybe LSU or Oklahoma. Some big games coming up this year on the schedule in Tuscaloosa. Tennessee's going to be there as well. But sign up, play the games. And like I said, it's all free. And you can hang out with us there. And we're brought to you by Pearl River Resort over in Philadelphia, Mississippi. We appreciate those guys so much for everything they do. And that's why I'm out here. I'm out here with the Pearl River gang for the G2E convention in Las Vegas. But they've been fantastic. They'll take care of you guys, too. It's an hour and a half from Tuscaloosa, 2 and change from Birmingham. Get over there, play Dancing Rabbit Golf Course. It's the Augusta you can play. It really is a fantastic golf course. Unbelievable. Take my word for it. Philip M. Steakhouse afterwards, maybe get you a good steak. You got Timeout Sports Lounge, which is a Vegas-style sports book right there at Golden Moon Casino. That's Pearl River Resort. And Tracy Lawrence is going to be there in November. You and I
There
both
you
like
go.
some Tracy. We both like some Tracy Lawrence.
Yeah.
All right, guys, roll Tide.
I may not suit up on Saturdays anymore, but I'm still in the game.
Let's roll.
In here, I call the plays, make adjustments, and lay it on the line. Want to feel that fire, that rush? Then you've got to get in the game. I used to say it in the tunnel, and I still say it now.